I just want to stay still with payments and pull you into this, Helen. Could you see a situation perhaps a couple of years out on a project like Lake Turkana where you have consumers using a fintech platform paying you directly? So, and then you have a structured product around that to secure those payments for your bank and bypass KPLC or the utility completely. Could you see that?
I think the whole concept of DevTech, FinTech is in fact to bypass the central entity, whether it's the utility or the bank. So it's making a direct link between the customer and the provider. As to Lake Turkana, I think it's doubtful because that is already a project finance deal. To get out of that project financing would be expensive and difficult. And for all the reasons that Chris has said, many of the customers in the immediate vicinity of the project, not only are they not internet connected, they're actually nomadic pastoralists. So the idea that they would somehow suddenly be able to buy power from the project today is, I think, not reasonable. However, I do think there is a role for these new technologies, as again Chris has said, for the smaller projects. And I think we have to look at that. Like everybody else, I don't think we found a viable alternative today to project finance. You would argue it's bad, but everything else is worse. So you do what you can. And so I do think that there are complementary possibilities, and these smaller projects can be financed and should be financed in a different way, because those of us, and all three of us here, are developers of large grid-connected projects which the continent needs. But there are people who are never going to be on the grid, or certainly not in my lifetime, which admittedly is not quite short. So something's got to give. We can't go on as before because we're not achieving what we need to achieve.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.